Okay, so let's just be honest. In the Black community, we have problems identifying or really recognizing, right, when something is wrong and thinking you can will yourself out of things that are internally just wrong with you. Your hormones may not re-regulate properly, right? Black women already deal with PCOS, fibroids, all these things that relate to estrogen issues.
Becky, before you get too far, I got a quick question for you. Because you said it was a clinically identifiable disease, right? Just like narcissism.
No, when I say, sorry, not just clinically, it's also a physiologically identifiable postpartum as well. So there you can look at someone's hormones levels and see like, oh, these haven't gone back into alignment what they should be after a certain period of time. So it's not just it's a medical and you know it affects your brain.
Like clinical depression or something like that. I guess my question is this, right? Because and by the way, I don't necessarily agree with Willie on this topic. I'm typically one of the guys that argue that I do believe in postpartum depression. However, would you say that most people who talk about having postpartum aren't necessarily diagnosed with postpartum? They just kind of throw it out.
They do, and too many people do not. And that's one of the issues with it is that too many people are afraid to seek help. It's in any community, but specifically in the Black community, when you already know if you're already starting from a negative baseline, right? If you already have issues hormonally and then you introduce pregnancy and then those things don't go back to what at least your baseline or what they should be, all types of issues are going to break out. All this to say is that I feel sorry for the woman. Definitely prayers because PTSD from a gunshot, when Willie mentioned she didn't listen to her man, which I'm assuming means they were in a room. He went to go leave the room to check out what happened instead of her staying behind like he made a recommendation.
In the house. She was by herself when they broke in.
She was on the phone. Didn't follow instructions.
And she went to go see what was going on instead of
calling. I mean, what he was told. But you're right. I agree with everything you just said about already being fucked up, having a baby, getting more fucked up hormonally. No argument there.
There's a lot of layers that unfortunately this woman is going through, which I think this conversation is one that honestly they shouldn't even be having right now because there's issues around it. And so even saying, why do you want to leave the house could literally mean she may be losing her mind at home, right? If they didn't move houses, you're now in a home with a vulnerable child, PTSD. It's going to trigger you. Now you're pregnant, home with a vulnerable child. You also have PTSD. And we see this though. Too many people, we see plenty of people who think having babies and just pushing through it and moving past it is going to fix things. And we see it in the Black community all the time. Oh, we're going to have this baby to fix our marriage. Oh, I want to keep this person around. I done trapped her. I've heard people say this on podcasts.
I'm not gonna argue that a lot of niggas think that their dick is all the therapy their woman needs. I can't argue against that. So,
go ahead, True.
Oh no, I wanted to ask: Is this I'm very ignorant to this topic, right? Is this a new phenomenon? But I'm only coming from the place of like babies have been being born in like huts in the middle of nowhere for like a lot of years, right? And like modern medicine is pretty advanced. This seems to be like the new tag to like everything related to baby having and women not feeling the best. I don't know. I'm trying to be educated. That's why I'm asking.
No. Can I answer this?
I think because of social media. Sorry. I think because of social media, like, just like depression, right? It's like almost like this is a new phenomenon, anxiety, things like that. I think just because of social media, you see more of it. You see these studies being done, but this has been since people have been having kids. I think that everybody didn't know that it was postpartum. You start to, more studies are put into play. You start to see people are killing their kids. People are killing their children because of postpartum. And I know
they're killing themselves too.
What do you say, Willie?
We talked about this postpartum and how women are the number one purveyors of infanticide. So no argument. But what we also left out of this conversation is only 13% of women who give birth are diagnosed with PTSD. But that doesn't mean that that's the only ones who have it. However, one of the things that we have to stop doing in our community is self-diagnosing ourselves with shit because of how we feel. Because we Googled it or chat GPT'd it and oh shit, it's niggas in the chat right now. that got a hair bump. They swear it's a hair bump, but that shit is herpes because they chat GPT'd it. Now they don't want to saying they done found something to make them feel good. They found the diagnosis they wanted, and then that's what they run with. So
and I will say, true, right? This is the thing. They used to call it they had the baby blues, right? We used to hear old folks say, oh, she just got the baby blues. She'll be all right. The woman probably had postpartum depression. Yeah. We're also at a sicker baseline as Black women, specifically in America. Food, vaccines, medicines, environment, right? This is why you see a lot of people. Lapita just came out about fibroids and all that, right? And how it's affecting majority. A lot of Black women are affected. So we're unfortunately sicker now at baseline than previous generations. We got a lot of issues.
I think if you're with a woman, right, whether she's your wife or you've been with her for some time, I think it should be fairly easy for you to identify when she's acting different after a baby, right? Like if she you should just be able to identify her behavior just being different from what it used to be. So I don't know, and I do think we're in an age where, and I do think we're in an age where there is a lot of people calling out diagnoses on Instagram and just being like, even, and it don't matter where it is, whether you're calling somebody a narcissist or whether you're in the NFL, everybody's saying everybody got what is called CTE. It's a period where we just throwing everything out there, and a lot of it, some of it may be true, but I do think, like Willie said, a lot of these things do need to be diagnosed. Like, just get a diagnosis before we start throwing things.
What's funny you brought up CTE, and this is going to give the women a bone here, that they have spent 8 times the money researching CTE as they have researching PCOS, fibroids, and what's the other thing y'all deal with a lot?
Ovarian cyst is on the rise too.
No, it's the one that makes y'all crazy.
Menopause.
There you go, menopause. Bam, the one where your shit stops. They spent 8 times that they spent 8 times the amount of money researching CTE than they did this. You know why? Because CTE affects $1 billion business, and the treatments for it is going to create another $1 billion industry. So I do think that's pretty funny that you mentioned CTE of all things, because that is so well documented that they have a actual template for what a brain looks like, and every brain that they say has CTE looks just like it. And then they pointed out that Aaron Hernandez had such an advanced form of PTSD and CTE. And you see what that nigga was on. He was shooting people inside of clubs and going to play football games on Sunday. Like nothing happened.
That nigga was like that since high school, though.
Fair. That's fair.
Go ahead, Toya. Oh, well.
No, I was just saying that part.
Oh, okay.